Alright, so now I have the basic stick, the Olisi. It's about a 36-inch stick. Now, as you can see, the top one is slightly smaller and broken because, as I've said, I broke it during training a few days ago on a tree. But that's good. It's good because when I first started training Filipino Collie, I started training in 1983, 84, somewhere around there, in the early mid 80s. Did I say 90s? I said 83, 84. So I started training the Filipino Collie in the early mid 80s, and we used to take broom handles and mop handles, and back then, I don't think it's so prominent nowadays, but back then all the mops and brooms that people sold had wooden handles, and people threw them away all the time. So when we would be walking around, anybody in class, at Collie class, if they saw a broom or a mop tossed in the trash can, we would always stop, pick it up, bring it up to the dojo. We'd cut it down for sticks, and then we'd tape them up. Now, we had to tape them up for two main reasons. One is splinters, because when you hit these sticks all the time, they start getting dents and they start splintering, and they will break. So we were getting splinters really bad, and also we were breaking them just by hitting them. Boom, and they would break. We weren't violent with our training, but we were pretty realistic and we were serious about it. So we would break sticks constantly. So we found that if we would tape them up, that it tended to help with, we didn't get splinters, and when they did break, they didn't go flying across the room and hitting somebody in the head. 'Cause I'm telling you, that hurts. So anyway, or go into the wall and put a hole in the wall. That happened several times too. So once you tape them up, most of the time, now when I did my training a couple days ago up on that tree, when it broke, it flew off, and I still haven't found it, and the tape didn't stop that. But generally, if they break and they're taped, they don't always go flying off. A lot of times they just dangle there, and the tape keeps them together long enough for you to pick them up or throw them away. So anyway, I do have one that's slightly shorter, which is no problem, and we'll just do one. We'll do a single Olisi. So again, Collie is the art that I trained. I don't profess to teach Collie in particular because I have altered it enough to where it's something that's different for me personally. Now, ultimately it's the same art that I was taught for the most part, but people tend to get a little touchy. If you say, okay, I'm going to teach you, and I'll use Collie as an example, I'm going to teach you Collie technique, and I do a Collie technique, whatever it is, and then somebody out there is bound to say, oh, that's not Collie, I don't know where you got that, but that's not Collie. So I kind of avoid that in general by openly saying I do not teach Aikido. I teach my form of Aikido, Zinshin Aikido, Aikijitsu. I teach my form of Aikido. I do not teach Collie. I teach my form of stick combat or stick self-defense. I do not teach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for many years, and it was mainly focusing on my MMA career when I was fighting. I never trained it for belts or for rank or for anything like that. I trained it to fight in the cage with it, and it worked fantastic for me. It is one of 4 ranges of combat, so it was one aspect of many, and I never did receive a rank. I never received a rank in Collie. I'm not ranked in Collie, but I teach my form of stick combat. I am not ranked in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in any way, shape, or form. I am less than a white belt, but I have had many years of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu training. I am decently skilled in what I need or want to know about it, and I do practice and train it. I have taught a class, and it has not continued, but once I get the new dojo going, it will come back. It's called EGADS. It's Eclectic Groundwork. So that will come back, and it is based off of my BJJ training, but I do not teach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So anyway, with the sticks, so you have basically 8 angles of attack. The 2 biggest things you need to learn, and these aren't necessarily forms, but they are patterns that enable you to understand the concept of angles. And real quickly, before we go into the 8 angles of attack in the basic 12, let me explain the whole purpose behind those 2 concepts. There are, and you can argue 9 angles, to be totally honest. So we'll add that real quick. There are only 8, maybe 9, depending on the way you see things, and we'll just say 9 right now. There are only 9 angles that any attack can come from. It doesn't matter what the weapon is, whether it's hand to hand, whether it's knife, whether it's a stick, whether it's a sword, whether it's a bow, a staff. It doesn't matter. An entire tree. It doesn't matter what you pick up and swing at somebody. Bladed or blunted or flexible. There's only 9 angles in which that attack can come. The whole idea of this basic 8, or the 8 angles of attack in the basic 12, is if you learn to defend the angle in which some attack comes, it doesn't matter what the attack is, you can defend the angle, not necessarily the attack. So you really only have to learn 8 defenses, and you can defend against anything, except maybe a bullet. But even, we do have an angle that's straight in like this, and that's the angle a bullet's going to come in. So technically, you can defend against a bullet as well with these 9 angles of attack. So let's talk about the angles of attack. Now, you can number these any way you want. I've basically started from the left side, going up and around like this in a clockwise manner, and numbered them 1. Again, you have Wu tick, which strikes out and comes back, and you have lob tick, which strikes completely through. All right, so we have angle 1. We have angle 2, which is Yoko Menuchi. It's angle 45 degree here. You have number 3, which is a Shomenuchi, which is straight down the body here. You have 4, which again, Yoko Menuchi. You have number 5, which goes straight across the other side, this way here. Number 6 angles upward, this way. Number 7, straight up the body. And number 8, another angle upward this direction. All right, now number 9 angle is a straight in like this. Straight attack in here. All right, now the key is you can defend any of these attacks, any of these, just by learning the angle. And again, you can half that, because angle 1 and an angle 5 are the exact same angle. It just comes off of the other side of the body. So if you learn 1, you can do them both. So this is 1 angle. This is an angle. This is an angle. And again, it's still a 45 degree angle, whether it's off of the left side, the right side, it's going up or going down. All right, so you have this angle, and this angle here. You only have technically 3 angles. Well, we'll say 4 because we have here. So, and then you got number 3, which goes down, and number 7, which goes up. So you have across the body, you have an X, whether you go up and down, left or right, and then you have the straight down and up. So you have an X with a plus. There's the plus here, and then you have your X here, and then your straight in strike. You can defend against those angles. It doesn't matter what the weapon is. Doesn't matter. Now, when I have find a tree or something that we can work these angles on, I'll show you the angles of attack. So there's the 8. I say 8 angles of attack. That's the way I was taught. We didn't count this one as a specific angle back in the day. I can see how it is an angle. So technically could be 9 angles of attack, but I always say 8 because that's just the way I was trained, and it's stuck in my head that way. So you can say either one. Now you have the basic 12. Now the basic 12 is as close to a kata as I ever got back in the 80s and 90s and even 2000s, early 2000s. That's as close as I ever got to a actual kata. And this is the basic 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's the basic 12. So we learned the basic 12 just to give us a clear understanding of defending these angles of attack and putting an emphasis on the fact that the angles of attack are the most important things to deal with. Not whether it's a knife, not whether it's a staff, not whether it's a sword, no matter what the weapon is. It's not the focus, it's the angle that's the focus. Now you can also break it down into blunt weapons and bladed weapons and flexible weapons. But you really have to look at all these techniques as if it was a bladed weapon, and you don't have to worry about that either. So when you work this blunted stick, it's a blunt stick. There's no sharp edges. It's rounded, it's blunt, it's a blunt weapon. Now, if you were going to use a knife, this represents a bladed weapon. There's a blade right here, okay? There's a sharp edge right there. So if you treat this stick as if it was sharp edged, and you learn to defend against the stick in the same way you would defend against a sword, then you don't have to worry about whether it's a blunt or a bladed weapon, because you treat every weapon as if it was a bladed weapon, and then you don't have to worry about it. So there's another idea and concept. So there is the basic 12 and the 8 angles of attack. And then we have a disarm basically for each angle of attack. And very simple, very easy. And again, if I can find a tree somewhere that fits the necessities of this training, we'll do a little bit of training on defending these angles of attack. Alright, so I've made this little card so that I can teach the basic 12 and the angles of attack and have a visual aid here to show that. Now, I'll get a closer picture of it. I'll show you a little bit closer in case you can't see what it is and says. But here you have the asterisks. Alright, you basically have an X and a cross, and it creates an asterisk. And they're numbered as for the basic 12. So we have 1 and 10 here. We have 1 going down and up. 5 is the center. 2 and 9. 8. 12 and 6. 11. 3 and 4. So when we're doing the basic 12, we can set this up, and this is a way you can learn. Now, I'm going to do another video at the dojo with the mirror so you can actually see it all together. But so I'll step here and I'll show you here. Now I'm going to be going off the other side because I'm facing the other direction. That's why I want to be in the mirror. So I guess if I'm here, my back is to you. Angle 1 is here. So I just trace that angle. See how I'm tracing that angle? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 goes straight in. 5. 6 pulls back, but still goes straight in here. 6. 7 comes an angle up here. 7. 8. and then the wind blows. So we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so there's your basic 12. And this is a representation of those angles on this little piece of card here, this poster board. Now on the back side of it, I have the 8 angles of attack. Now, I'll probably put a number 9 here in the center, just so that I can reference that. I have not done that yet. But again, facing the board, my back to you, starting over here at 1, angle 1, straight across here. Angle 2, this 45-degree angle Yoko Minucci. Angle 3 is this Sho Minucci straight down. 4, same as the number 2, but on the opposite side. Number 5, same as the number 1, just the opposite side. Number 6 is the same as 2, but the opposite side going up. Number 7 goes straight up. Number 8 will angle with this 45-degree angle, same as number 4, but going the other direction. So you have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Basic 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's your 8 angles of attack and your basic 12. So I'm going to talk a little bit about a knife. All right, here's a small wooden training knife that we use in Aikido. Now, again, as I said, if you treated every weapon as if it was a bladed weapon, you don't have to worry about it, whether it's blunt, bladed, or whatever. So, again, the basic 12, the 8 angles of attack is all the same thing. 1, 2, here. You got angle 1, angle 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It doesn't really matter. You got 1, you got 2, you got 3, you got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you have that extra 9 one there that's actually there. 9 straight in. Alright? No different than the stick, no different than the Joe, no different than a Boken, nothing. Same thing. Now, when it comes to realistic, and I use that word very strongly, realistic knife self-defense, 99%, in my view, in my opinion, 99% of the crap that's taught by just about any traditional style, and just about any style period, is dangerous. It'll get you killed. It'll definitely get you hurt. It's just unrealistic BS, honestly. Now, I have done a video, one video on knife self-defense. I've had a lot of people ask me about it, and I'm pretty honest and blunt about it. Defending against a knife is dangerous. You are pretty much guaranteed to get hurt. Absolutely. You're going to get cut. You're going to bleed. You could possibly die in a real situation with a knife. All right. I have been in knife conflicts before. I have had to defend myself against a knife attacker, and I will say I'm not going to say it was my skill or my abilities that got me out of that. I'm going to say it was the stupidity of the person with the knife that got me out of that. I did defend myself successfully without harm, but I'm not going to say it was because of my skill or my ability or my knowledge, my experience. It was none of that. It was the fact that the guy attacking me with the knife was an idiot. All right, so that's all I'm going to say about that. So if you do get attacked by a knife wielding person who wants to hurt you, just hope and pray that it's an idiot and that you have enough of experience and skill to be able to defend against that. So I do have one video up on my channel about knife defense. I personally think it's realistic and effective, and I encourage everybody to go check that out. But as far as knife self-defense, you're not going to see me doing any videos about all this crazy, well, you're not going to see me doing any crazy blocking crap anyway. But you're not going to catch me doing a video on, first you block the attack, like they're going to come down in this Shomenuchi strike with this hammer fist and the knife downward like this, and you try to do a block like this. You're going to get yourself cut up and killed. Now, what I will say about knife fighting or knife defense is watch my video, and I truly honestly think that it's the best way. For me, I know it's the best way. But I think overall, for everybody, I think it's the best way to defend yourself against a knife, and I really think you should check that out. But always remember that if you're in a knife fight and you're defending yourself against a knife, do not place your inside of your arms where they can get to the knife, because they're just going to cut you like this here and slice up all the good parts where all the veins are at, the arteries, where all the good stuff is, the nice meat and everything like that. If you have to, and you're defending against a knife attack, use the back of your hand. When they cut you, which will happen, you will get cut. When they cut you, they're not going to get the arteries, the veins, and the nerves and everything, not as much if they cut the top of your hand instead of the inside, where they're really going to jack you up hard. So if you're going to defend against a knife attack, use the outside of your hand, not the inside of your hand. If you try this block here where you roll that hand up and you expose this meaty part of your hand, and they come down with this knife like this here and they hit you, they're just going to slice. Just like, if they know what they're doing, I know that's what I would do to you. If you put that hand up here like this and I come down like this here, I just slice that just like, boom, just like that. Because you don't block, you deflect. Boom, he blocked it, now I just slice you off. So basically you're giving somebody something to rip off and beat you to death with, or cut off. So very, very simple, very basic stuff. I'm not going to get into the knife because, like I said, it's a dangerous weapon, and I don't want to teach somebody something stupid and ridiculous that's going to get them hurt or killed. Alright, so I don't know how well you can see, but here's a big vine that's rolled around here, and it's about hip high down to my knee, from my knee up to my hip here. Now, this is a good example of being able to show you the wing deflection and the roof deflection as an angle that's coming in from your side, like this number 1 and number 5, which come straight across like this here. So if this is the attack, the attacker is coming in and I'm slicing here like this. Okay? So I'm defending on this side here like so. So let's start in our left hand because I like that. So we're going to work the wing block. Now as they come in, they're going to be slicing in like this here. So as it comes in, I can step in on it and wing block it, or wing deflect it here. Now I don't just stop that, because if they're coming in hard like this, alright, you're not gonna, that is gonna just here, and it's just gonna slam into you, you're gonna lose your stick. But if you deflect it, I'm like this, deflect it, and then you can strike it. Alright, now that'll either strike the stick to try to release it, secondary strike. The first strike, you should try to hit the wrist, the knuckles, the hand that's holding the stick. A very good concept is defang the snake. The snake is harmless. Well, the fang is the weapon in the person's hand. So if you can defang that, get rid of it, they no longer have their fang. So defang the snake is harmless. Wing deflect, strike. Now, again, if you see this movement, it's identical to the Boken form that we use in Aikido, where I'm here, and then see how I Tenkan and then strike the wrist here. So I'm here, a Remi Tenkan, strike the wrist. It's pretty much the same thing here. All right, I'm going to Remi in, wing deflect, Tenkan, and strike the hand. Now, if you see, I put my free hand out there. Now, my free hand is used to pat and control Uki's attacking hand. So when I come in here like this, what I'm trying to do, and initially, if I can get in here and strike the hand, or strike the hand and wrist first off, that's what you really want to do. You don't even need to mess with the attacking weapon as much as what's holding the weapon, the hand. So if you can literally hit the hand first, you can release it, you can do everything here. The wing deflection right here is hitting the upper part of the hand here, or you can step in and then you come down on it. So initially the first attack is to the hand, if you can do that. If not, go to the secondary attack, which is the fang of the snake, which is the weapon. Come in, it deflects, rolling motion. Now this hand here, as you can see, as it rolls up, my hand comes out, and I'm going to tap the wrist hand area if I can get a hold of it. So now I have a little bit of control because I have connection with the Uki, or the attacker. Once I touch you, or once you touch me, I have you. So if they don't want to initiate the touch, I initiate the touch here. All right, so now I have a touching contact with my Uki. Now if I want to continue here with some kind of physical grab or movement, I can. I generally don't like doing that initially because it's just not safe to try to grab and control an opponent unless they're weakened first. So here. Now that tap just lets me know where they are. All right, now I have a physical connection with you, so I know where every part of your body is, and I can feel everything you do. Now my hand comes down on the wrist hand area as I Tenkan around, and I crack you in the hand. Hopefully I break it. Again, wing attack. I'm hitting either initially, I'm hitting the hand. If I don't hit the hand, I get the stick here, and then I strike the hand. All right. Now, supposing it's in the right hand. Most people are right-handed. All right. So now, if they're coming onto my left side, I'm going to do this downward roof like this here. Again, free hand. My left hand is the free hand. The stick comes out, and I'm going to roll. I'm not stopping it. I'm just deflecting it away and controlling the angle in which it comes at me and the speed in which it comes at me, and I'm moving it to where I want it to be. As I do that, my hand comes in between my body and the stick. Do not go on the outside of your stick and try this. Inside here, and I touch. Come up and down. Same thing. Here. There. Other side of the hand. Here. Like so. Alright? So that's how you train those. Train them in both sides. You have your wing and your roof. So we go with left hand, wing, strike. Now, I would want to necessarily come on the other side of this and work this side here as well in my left hand, but being that I don't really have the space and I don't feel like clearing that out and dealing with the whole process, if this was going to be a tool that I used on a regular basis, I would absolutely clear that area out over there so I could come back here and do it on both sides. But for this video, I'm just going to simply go with the left hand. I'll do the wing deflection, and in the right hand I will do the roof, like so. All right, so everybody train that, and hopefully you get really good and experienced with this, the wing and the roof deflections.